Hello and welcome to my art space. My name is Terri Heinz and today I'm going to be making fairies for the schoolhouse. I'll be making fairies that stand up and fairies that can sit at the school table. Let's get started. Now here we have a cutout girl, and what I did to get her backing was I turned her upside down on some pretty paper and traced closely all the way around. And once you've done that, then cut it out just inside the trace lines. And if you've traced nice and close, the backing should fit quite well once you've cut it out. There, it makes her much neater looking. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a little bit of coordinating ink, and I'm just going to do her edges so that we don't have a white cut paper edge showing. It's also nice just to add a little bit of color to her outfit. Okay, so now that you have your image cut out and the backing ready to go, we can start to put her together. If the paper doesn't feel stiff enough, you can glue in some toothpicks just to give it a little added strength. If you happen to have the flatter toothpicks, it's great. It wouldn't be quite as bulky. I think I'll put one down each of her legs, like this, and I'll put one down the middle of her back. That just makes her a little bit more sturdy. Actually, I think I might add one to her head as well. There. So can you see that then? And then the top of her body will go right over like this, okay? But first we've got to choose her wings. I like to use butterfly wings for my fairies. This one's nice. I like that one too. But I think I like this one the best. So I'm going to go with these wings, and I'm going to decorate them up. I've already done some of it, but I've taken my patina stickles and I've just kind of gone around the edges, and I filled in some of the little dots. Okay. I also went around the edges of the butterfly wings after I cut them with an ink color that I liked. And then, so that the back of the wing is nice, you can also ink it up with a coordinating color. I'll do the other one as well. Or you could cut a piece that matches it, just like we did for the body. You could do that too. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to trim these a little bit, and then I'm going to decide where I want them to go on her by putting a little bit of glue on the edge like this, and kind of deciding how I best like her wings. I think I like it like that. Once you get them both on, you kind of know a little bit more of what you like. She doesn't look all that happy, does she? She looks very contemplative. So I make her wings maybe more relaxed looking, like that. And now I'm just going to put some glue around the edges of her backing. And I'm going to kind of smooth that all out around the edges. And then put her on. Line it up as best I can. She's looking pretty good. Make sure everything's glued down all the way around the edges, even around her legs. There, see how she looks on the back? Not too bad. Okay, now to make our fairy stand up, we're going to use buttons. Use a button that at least has one flat side, and this is where the glue gun comes in, and the moss. So you need a little bit of moss, you need a handy glue gun. We put a little bit of glue on the button. And we start to put her feet in. I'm going to bend her foot a little bit, like this. And then to stabilize it, I'm going to use moss. While the glue is still hot, you want to get that down. And it really helps to hold her straight up, like this. And then when I'm done, I like to kind of trim up some of the looser stuff. There. I want her shoes to show a little bit, so I'm going to pull it away a little bit there. And now she will definitely stand up. Let's move on to a sitting fairy. I've chosen this image here. Now, if you look, she doesn't even have a lower body. But I'm going to pretend that she does. I want her to sit on this cork chair that I'm going to make so she can sit at the table. I've taken an old button, again flat on both sides this time. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue there and sit my wine cork on it. And there, we have a chair. I think fairies would sit on cork chairs, don't you? And I'm planning on putting her on like this so that she can lean on the table. But since she doesn't have a lower body, I've decided to use some vintage lace. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue right there. I'm going to add my first little layer of lace. I'm going to zhuzh it up a bit so that it has a bit of a gather. So I have her front of her skirt partially on. What I want to do right now is take care of her back. First, I want to pick out her wings. And I'm looking at different wings that I have. I think I like these wings better. So I'm going to cut these wings in half. I'm going to color the edges just a little bit. That's lovely. A nice bright moss green around the edge. Okay, so I have her skirt partially on in the front. I'm going to turn her over and I'm going to work on her back. I already have a piece of paper that's going to be her back cover. And I am going to strengthen her back with a little bit of glue down the center. And a toothpick. And that will help. And now I want to check and see where I want to put those fairy wings. Put a little bit of glue there. That looks really good. And a little bit of glue on the other fairy wing, which has a little moss stuck to it. Lovely. And now before we finish her skirt and wrap her skirt around, we're going to turn her over and put her backing on. First I'm going to apply glue all the way around the edges of her back. Oops. Not on the wing, Terry. Just on her back. Smooth that around and apply her backing. Okay, I'm going to have to rearrange her wing just a little bit, make sure it's up there. Okay, so now that I have her wings on and her backing on, I'm going to just finish gluing her skirt on the back with a little bit of hot glue. And then I'm going to give her actually another layer of lace skirt right there. And I'm going to wrap that around the back as well and glue that on. There. And now we're going to put her on her seat. Here's her little seat. And I want to get the table because I want to make sure that wherever she sits, she bends just right to go on the table. There. And then her little skirt will hang down. Take a little bit of hot glue, put it on the cork, and sit her down. I'm just going to hold that until it finishes setting. And then we'll have a fairy sitting at the school table. I'm going to put just a little bit of glue to hold her skirt down underneath here. There. And now she looks like she has legs. And she can sit at the table. And let's make one more fairy. This is a really cute little girl from Paper Whimsy. And I've cut out a backing for her. I think I'm going to use these wings right here. She's very stiff paper, so I'm not going to use any toothpicks on her. I'm going to put glue around her outer edge. Start her wings. If you end up with it too much of the background showing, you can just trim the edges like that. Isn't she cute? And then pull some moss off and stick it around the back and the front. And there she is. So we have this fairy and this fairy and our sitting fairy. All of them are going to be students in our fairy schoolhouse. Well, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed watching me make fairies. The next video will be about making the furniture and the accessories and decorating inside the schoolroom. Can't wait to see your fairies. Bye-bye.